Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys had an amazing Christmas and Happy New Year as well. Today we have an exciting video for you guys where we are taking a look at the, well, not yet released Callaway Epic Max drivers. First, we're going to take a look at some photos of the drivers, and we're going to talk a little bit about the looks and first impact, and then we are going to talk about some of the technology that is going into these drivers and if it's going to be worth trying out for you guys, if it's a massive increase to the previous driver, and we might speculate a little bit about the price as well. So first, let's dive in and let's take a look at some of these photos which have been leaked. I don't know from where, I've just found them online, so I don't have any sources inside Callaway, unfortunately, that have sent me these or anything or given me any excess information, but we can get a lot of information from the looks of these drivers. There's a lot of technology that you can kind of see almost from the outside actually of these drivers, so it gives us a really good look at not just what these drivers are going to look like, but possibly how they're going to perform and how they're going to be marketed towards us as well with this new technology. So let's throw this picture up on the screen for you guys to take a look at, and let's talk through some of the first initial kind of impacts of this driver. So first of all, obviously they have kept that green that the kind of Epic line has become so well known for now. My first real thought when I saw this was actually it looks really cool. I think it looks good. Like, I actually haven't been a massive fan of the looks of the previous kind of Epic drivers. I think they've always performed well, just it's a personal preference thing. I know loads of people love them. I also don't like the kind of squash driver head where it's kind of a deep face. I prefer kind of a bigger footprint from the top, but that's just personal preference for me. And they've always been a very high quality product. They've always performed very well. We've seen them in the bags of, you know, some of the world's best players, and they've always been a very high quality product. And for me, this driver personally looks the best out of all of the previous versions of it. Green still is never going to be my favorite color, so when I see a driver come out in green, I would have rather seen it in, I don't know, blue, white, gray, even orange or purple or something a bit different, but it looks good. I think it looks good. The styling of this driver looks really, really cool. And visibly, we have a lot of technology that we can see to talk about. The first things for me, let's start from the back of the driver and work our way to the front. They have kept that sliding weight track at the back, which is something that is a bit different to TaylorMade, who have actually gotten rid of any kind of movable weight tracks or anything like that. So that's very interesting to see, and a good way they're kind of differentiating themselves from the market. As you know, actually, if we look at the Cobra drivers, the Ping drivers, actually they've all gotten rid of that weight track, which is really interesting. The next thing next to that weight track, which I kind of saw, is you've got these kind of aerodynamic looking fins at the back. Now, I personally don't think something that small is really going to make a massive difference in performance, but I'm sure that we're going to get some sort of marketing hype that it increases club head speed and therefore increases ball speed and therefore is going to make us hit the ball that little bit further. And maybe it does. Maybe it makes us hit the ball that 2 yards further if we really flush it out the middle, but it's not going to make a huge difference. But you know, they wouldn't have just put it there just for the looks of it. There's going to be some sort of hype around that. The next thing we've got to talk about, let's make our way. If we look at the hosel of the driver, it looks like this will be adjustable. You do have a removable kind of hosel there, and it kind of looks like it's done in this really cool silver, which I actually think looks just really good. Also kind of looks like maybe some dirt and kind of mud could get in there. That's just my first thought because I play in wet conditions in the UK, so always got to be thinking about how clean these drivers are going to look even after one hit. And then moving our way to the front, the main thing with this driver is going to be this jailbreak technology. It is a new form of jailbreak where we have these 4 rods in it, and it says Jailbreak Speed Frame. And firstly, on a looks point of view, I actually think this looks really cool. I think, you know, I like the way they've got that little green around the outside of the chrome kind of bars that are running through the middle of the driver. I'm sure you guys all know about the jailbreak technology in the previous Epics that had those bars running, connecting the top and bottom of the driver to really help deliver better performance at the kind of moment of impact and stuff. Stabilize that club face. Apparently, I think this driver, they have continued to use that AI technology that they did previously in the previous version of the face, and I think that's something that's helped them now develop this new Jailbreak Speed Frame, as they are calling it. Now, if we take a look at another photo of this driver, and it actually looks quite different from this photo already. It's quite interesting. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, I think it looks good. It looks very sleek at the bottom, actually. Like, from that previous picture, it kind of really stands out to you, but actually, I love this kind of shininess of the kind of it's got a lot of details to it, but actually it's quite flat on the bottom. It's quite like rounded and smooth is probably the right word, and I like that. It looks like you'd be able to kind of wipe it clean if it did get any dirt or something on there, rather than kind of weight tracks and everything to get dirt into. But what we can notice about this driver is actually there's going to be 2 versions of it, and this one is called the Epic Speed. And, well, what does that mean? Well, we can actually see that this driver doesn't have that weight track on the back of it. It instead has a fixed weight right at the back, which we can just about see. So it is slightly different. What does that mean? Maybe it will be at a slightly cheaper price, you would think, because it doesn't have that removable weight track. Maybe it will be a slightly different club head shape as well. Maybe it won't be quite so deep. Maybe it will be, you know, suit my eye a little bit more. Who knows? To the naked eye at this point, that's the kind of only real difference we can see. You've still got that Jailbreak AI Speed Frame. It actually says, now that's interesting, on the Epic Max it says Jailbreak Speed Frame. On the Epic Speed, it says Jailbreak AI Speed Frame. So obviously AI stands for artificial intelligence, so they've used their supercomputers to help kind of develop this. I don't know why it says AI on the Speed and not the Max. Maybe that's another difference in technology, or maybe this is just a further down the line prototype and we're going to see it say AI on the Max as well, or maybe they won't put AI on either of them. That will be interesting to see. It will be interesting to hear the marketing around that and why that is. And now let's take a look at the club face itself. Not too much different from the outside perspective. It still says, what does it say in that top right hand corner? It says flash face. Looks like it says, it either says 2021 or SS21. I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, obviously that's this year's version, 2021. So I would guess there's going to be some sort of difference in the face as well. It looks like the face is quite smooth and integrated with the rest of the driver. It's not so much of an insert maybe. It's quite hard to tell from this picture but maybe there'll be some sort of story there as well. We've seen Cobra release drivers with that kind of wraparound face. Maybe this will be similar. Maybe they've developed some sort of new technology in the manufacturing process which allows them to develop and make these drivers slightly differently. So that will be interesting as well. But now let's take a look and talk about some of the technology that's going into this driver. So obviously last year was the first year we've seen Callaway with the Epic Flash brought out this flash face technology, which was the first ever to be engineered using this artificial intelligence, obviously to try and increase ball speed. The Epic also incorporated the Jailbreak technology, and that was a really interesting and exciting piece of technology when it first came out. So this year they've actually incorporated both of those pieces of technology, and it looks like they've tried to use that AI to further develop Jailbreak as well, which is a really interesting story. And actually, if we look at other drivers, that Jailbreak with the 4 bars, that could be the kind of biggest piece of new technology we've maybe seen visually on any 2021 drivers, personally, that I've seen so far. It will be interesting when TaylorMade actually releases the TaylorMade Sim 2 drivers. It will be interesting to see and hear what the main differences and improvements are on the previous model. So this Jailbreak Speed Frame includes the 4 bars, obviously, that we can see, and it looks like 2 of them will be slightly smaller, which obviously is just a take on the Callaway Epic Flash. There is the continuation of that adjustable weight track at the back, which apparently is going to have a 16-gram weight, which will allow us to adjust this driver and will probably negate the option for Callaway to bring out a draw version of this driver. They probably won't need to do that. So that's also interesting, and you know, as consumers, gives us more flexibility over customizing this product to ourselves, especially if we go for a custom fit and we want to change our ball flight or, you know, whatever. We can do that just by moving that weight around, which is great. And it's something interesting that actually a lot of brands are getting rid of these weight tracks, and to be honest, I'm personally not sure why that is. So now let's talk about price. Currently, we don't know how much this driver is going to cost. It looks to me like a pretty premium product. Now, it will be interesting to see how much they bring this out at, and it will be interesting to see what the previous Callaway drivers then drop down to. It looks like a very high quality product. It looks expensive. It looks like they've developed it using very high quality materials, and there's probably been quite a lot of research and development going into it. So I'm not expecting it to come out at a low price point. I think about 400 to 500 pounds is where it will be. It's very interesting that any driver below 400 pounds that's made by a major manufacturer, talking Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade, Cobra, you know, all these guys, any driver below that 400 pound mark is kind of deemed to be a more affordable price point. Any driver above that 500 pound mark is deemed to be quite expensive. So I would expect it to be in that bracket. We have seen drivers drop in price actually for the first time in a while. The last few years, 2 years ago, they were all 500 pounds and over, 550 maybe, and that's before any additional shaft options. So this is the first time we have seen the last few years where they've actually dropped a little bit in price and been brought out more around the 420, 450 mark, depending on which brand. And obviously Cobra have kept their prices a little bit lower than that, in the kind of mid 300s range. So it will be interesting to see what the story is with this driver, with the marketing when it's released. It'll be interesting to see the price, and it will be interesting to see the performance of it as well. What do you guys think of it? I'd love to hear your opinions. Do you like it? Do you like the looks? Do you hate it? Comment down below. Make sure you do like this video and subscribe to my channel for more. And, you know, my first opinion of it, I think it looks cool. I think it looks really good. I think it's good to see some different technology being brought in, and I think that's actually really difficult for brands nowadays as well, because there are so many rules and regulations. Whether that technology has any difference on performance, that will be interesting to see. If it ever had a huge impact on performance, it's kind of sad to say, but the RNA kind of really hate that. So it's almost a little bit of a catch-22. We want to see drivers pushing the boundaries, getting faster, going longer. And if they do, then it's more and more likely that they would become illegal, or there would be more stricter rules brought in to limit that technology, which is a massive shame. And it's kind of just goes around in circles then with these brands and everything. And yeah, it's not a good situation to be in. But personally for me, I love seeing drivers go longer, farther, straighter. I'm sure you guys do too, and I'm sure PGA Tour players are no exception. They want their drivers going further and further. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Happy New Year. Hope you guys have a great year, and let me know any thoughts you guys have. And as always, guys, grip it and rip it.